Marisa Tomei's unforgettable performance in My Cousin Vinny won her an Oscar. However, her influence on the film goes beyond just playing the character Mona Lisa Vito. At first, the studio doubted she was right for the role of the bold Brooklyn girlfriend of a novice lawyer. However, director Jonathan Lynn saw potential in Tomei and chose to cast her, even though she was relatively unknown. From casting debates to surprises on set, Marisa Tomei's role in this comedy classic is full of unexpected twists. Did Marisa Tomei add something special to the making of My Cousin Vinny that led to its success? Watch until the end to find out. On March 13, 1992, a comedy classic was born. My Cousin Vinny, directed by Jonathan Lynn and produced by Dale Launer and Paul Schiff, features an amazing cast. Joe Pesci shines as Vinny Gambini, while Ralph Macchio and Mitchell Whitfield are great as Bill and Stan. Marisa Tomei steals the show as Mona Lisa Vito, a role that won her an Academy Award. The film also stars Fred Gwynne in his last role as Judge Chamberlain Haller, along with Lane Smith and Bruce McGill. Released by 20th Century Fox, this iconic movie tells the story of Bill Gambini and Stan Rothenstein, two New York college students on a road trip to California. After stopping at a convenience store in Alabama, they are wrongly accused of murder and face a trial. Their only hope is Bill's cousin Vinny, a new lawyer with more street smarts than courtroom skills. Vinny's Brooklyn attitude and lack of trial knowledge clash with the formal Southern courtroom, leading to hilarious moments. Legal mistakes, misunderstandings, and Vinny's struggles with Southern culture make for a very funny movie. Despite its humor, My Cousin Vinny provides a surprisingly accurate look at criminal trials, showing the complexities of legal proceedings. This mix of comedy and realism has made the film a classic, loved by both audiences and legal professionals. The film also took a risk by casting Marisa Tomei as the sharp-tongued Mona Lisa Vito. At the time, Tomei was mostly known for smaller roles, including a soap opera part. The studio was unsure if she could bring the needed comedic weight and sass to the role. However, director Jonathan Lynn saw her potential while she played a feisty maid in the 1991 comedy Oscar. He envisioned Mona Lisa as charismatic and quick-witted, someone who could match Vinny's chaotic energy and balance his inexperience. Lynn pushed for Tomei despite the studio wanting a bigger name. Any doubts vanished when Tomei delivered the iconic "Oh yeah, you blend" line, perfectly mixing sarcasm with genuine concern and setting the stage for her unforgettable performance. Mona Lisa is more than just a collection of sharp retorts. She's fiercely loyal, intelligent, and surprisingly knowledgeable about cars, a key point in the film's climax. Tomei's performance earned her widespread praise and an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, catapulting her to stardom. The studio was initially reluctant to cast Tomei and had approached Lorraine Bracco, known for her role in The Sopranos. While imagining a different Mona Lisa is intriguing, it's uncertain if anyone else would have had the same chemistry with Vinny. The studio's first choice for Vinny was Andrew Dice Clay, the brash comedian. Other big names like Danny DeVito and Peter Falk were considered, and even Robert De Niro and Jim Belushi were in the mix. However, they lacked the specific Italian-American flair needed for the role. Joe Pesci, fresh off Lethal Weapon 2 and his legendary performance in Goodfellas, ultimately secured the part. He brought the perfect blend of intensity, street smarts, and comedic timing to Vinny. Think you know everything about My Cousin Vinny? Think again. The world of Beecham County, Alabama, where Vinny fights for his cousin's freedom, might not be entirely what it seems. While the southern drawl and hospitality feel authentic, those rolling hills and quaint towns were actually filmed in Georgia. The charming town of Monticello, Georgia, stood in for Beecham County. You can still visit locations like Lucy's secondhand store, where Vinny and Mona Lisa examine the crucial tire marks, and the imposing courthouse, which is actually the Jasper County Superior Court. Interestingly, Beecham County doesn't even exist in Alabama. It's a fictional creation, adding to the film's quirky charm. The Sacco Suds convenience store, the scene of the crime, is still standing in Monticello, a must-see for any die-hard My Cousin Vinny fan. The jail scenes were filmed at the Lee Arundel Correctional Institute in Alto, Georgia, giving the movie an authentic feel through a bit of geographical trickery. Did you know the funny courtroom scenes in My Cousin Vinny were inspired by a real-life event? It began with a conversation that screenwriter Dale Launer had in the 1970s. Launer, known for movies like Ruthless People and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, met a young man waiting nervously for his bar exam results. Out of curiosity, Launer asked what he would do if he failed. The answer? He'd just retake it until he passed. This made Launer wonder, what's the most times someone has failed the bar exam and still become a lawyer? The answer was 13. 13 tries before passing. This idea sparked Launer's imagination. What kind of lawyer would this be? And what if they were the only hope for someone wrongly accused of a serious crime? Imagine this. A new lawyer, fresh off his 13th bar exam attempt, suddenly has to defend his cousin from a murder charge in the Deep South. This fish-out-of-water scenario became the basis for My Cousin Vinny. The clash of cultures, a hostile small town, and an unfamiliar legal system were enough challenges. But Launer added more. He created Mona Lisa Vito, a smart mechanic and the voice of reason amid the chaos. Her knowledge of cars and no-nonsense attitude would be crucial as they solved the case. The script was a hit and was quickly picked up by 20th Century Fox, but the inspiration didn't stop there. Launer took a road trip through the South to add real-life experiences to the script. Stuck in the mud? That made it into the movie. He even met an assistant district attorney who inspired the character Jim Trotter, played by Lane Smith. Launer researched legal proceedings carefully. He found out that real-life courtroom battles are not exactly like what you learn in law school. This was perfect for Vinny, a lawyer with more scrappy determination than textbook knowledge. This mix of real experiences, careful research, and creative imagination makes My Cousin Vinny a great legal comedy. So, was Vinny based on a brilliant legal mind? Nope. Vinny Gambini was inspired by the loudmouths from Joe Pesci's own childhood. Pesci, with his intense and funny style, was perfect for the role. He understood the fast-talking, leather jacket-wearing characters who could talk their way out of anything. Growing up in New Jersey, he had plenty of real-life examples to draw from. Pesci's performance was so convincing that some people thought he was a real lawyer. He captured the bravado, quick comebacks, and determination that hid his lack of textbook knowledge. These qualities make Vinny both hilarious and surprisingly effective in his own unique way. Here's the real surprise. The studio wanted to remove Mona Lisa Vito from the script. Just imagine My Cousin Vinny without its most famous character. Luckily, screenwriter Dale Launer refused to let that happen. But saving Mona Lisa meant playing by the studio's rules. They insisted on that typical scene, the nagging girlfriend complaining about feeling ignored while her man saves the day. Launer really disliked that idea. He knew audiences hated those scenes. Mona Lisa was too smart and strong to be reduced to such a cliché. Launer's solution was clever. He wrote a scene where Mona Lisa does complain, but it's funny, self-aware, and totally different from those annoying girlfriend stereotypes. Instead of making her look bad, it shows how sharp she is. Mona Lisa understands the situation perfectly and isn't afraid to tell Vinny what's what. This scene does two things. First, it satisfied the studio by including the expected conflict. But more importantly, it showed Mona Lisa's importance in the movie. She isn't just a forgettable girlfriend. She's a partner, an equal, and her opinions matter. By turning a typical storyline around, Launer made sure Mona Lisa stayed an essential and loved part of My Cousin Vinny. Mona Lisa isn't just Vinny's girlfriend. She's the heart of the movie, the voice of reason, and a source of both frustration and laughter. It's lucky they didn't delete her. Imagine if your most famous scene almost didn't get in the movie. That's what happened with the memorable biological clock scene in My Cousin Vinny. Can you believe it? This funny and unexpectedly touching scene wasn't in the original script. Once again, the studio caused problems. They wanted a more common problem for Mona Lisa, but screenwriter Dale Launer wasn't going to turn her into a cliched, nagging girlfriend. What did he do? He wrote that biological clock scene. Funny, yes, but also showing Mona Lisa's feelings and Vinny's cluelessness. This scene is priceless. It reveals that Mona Lisa wants more than just the ongoing courtroom drama. She dreams of a family and a future. She's not just a witty sidekick. She's a character with her own hopes and goals. Vinny's hilarious panic is true to his character and fits perfectly with the story. The scene cleverly plays with expectations. It could have been a tired cliché, but instead it deepens Mona Lisa's character and delivers some of the film's biggest laughs. It also sets her up to shine in the movie's climax. Launer's brilliance saved the day. He gave the studio what they wanted, but he did it his way. He crafted a scene that's both funny and insightful, adding another memorable layer to My Cousin Vinny. Imagine this: Robert De Niro, known for intense, serious roles, as Vinny Gambini. It's a surprising thought, right? But that was screenwriter Dale Launer's original idea. He saw De Niro's potential for drama and unexpected humor. However, the studio president wasn't convinced. In the early 90s, De Niro was famous for dramatic films like Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. The studio boss doubted his ability to handle Vinny's comedic chaos in an Alabama courtroom. Launer, clearly ahead of his time, saw De Niro's potential. But when he pitched the idea to the studio president, it didn't go well. Imagine trying to convince them that the guy known for serious, intense roles could nail a role as a hilariously clueless lawyer. It was awkward. However, De Niro would later prove his comedy skills in movies like Meet the Parents. His ability to handle both drama and humor showed he was a versatile actor. The studio missed a big chance by passing on what could have been an iconic and uniquely funny take on Vinny Gambini. Joe Pesci's performance became legendary instead, but it's always fun to wonder what could have been in Hollywood. Just picture De Niro in that Alabama courtroom, giving his tough guy stares filled with confusion over the whole situation. Sometimes the best ideas come from hitting the road. Screenwriter Dale Launer didn't want a generic version of the South. He craved the real thing with all its quirks, flavors, and unexpected moments. So he set off on a road trip to soak in the details that would make My Cousin Vinny authentic. Imagine Launer feeling out of place, renting a car in New Orleans and exploring the southern states. He got stuck in the mud, a mishap that made it into the film. He became obsessed with grits, who wouldn't? And those mysterious owl hoots added the perfect background for late-night courtroom planning. The people he met, friendly sheriffs, strict judges, and even the car expert, these real-life encounters breathed life into the film's colorful characters. You can easily picture Launer jotting down bits of conversations he overheard, capturing local accents, and remembering the unforgettable faces he encountered. Hold on. Mona Lisa's car testimony isn't what you might think. It's one of the most famous courtroom scenes in movie history. Mona Lisa Vito, with her sharp style and even sharper wit, takes the stand and expertly tears apart the prosecution's case. Her deep knowledge of cars, learned in her father's garage, reveals inconsistencies and ultimately saves the day. But here's the twist. Her testimony, though funny and memorable, wasn't completely accurate. Mona Lisa confidently states that only 2 cars in the 60s had both positraction and independent rear suspension, one being the 1963 Pontiac Tempest. This suggests the car leaving the tire marks couldn't belong to Bill and Stan. But it turns out there was another car at that time that fit the description, the 1964 Studebaker Avanti. Awkward, right? Screenwriter Dale Launer learned this the hard way from his car enthusiast high school friend, who noticed the mistake on opening night and called to point it out. Launer wasn't too worried about it. It's a small detail that doesn't change the plot and adds to the scene's humor. Plus, at least his friend enjoyed the movie despite being so detail-oriented. Imagine this. A Brooklyn lawyer full of quick-talking confidence meets an old-school Southern judge who speaks as slow as molasses. Add in regional accents, and you've got a recipe for hilarious chaos. That's exactly how the famous Two Youths scene happened. Vinny, with his strong New Jersey accent, confidently refers to his clients as two youths accused of murder. Judge Haller is baffled. "What's a youth?" he asks, his gentle accent making the word sound completely unfamiliar. Cue the confused back and forth and repeated, "What's that?" only making the misunderstanding worse. Here's the surprise. This wasn't even planned. It turns out this funny moment came from a real mix-up between director Jonathan Lynn and Joe Pesci during pre-production. Lynn, being British, misheard Pesci saying youths as utes. The resulting confusion turned into comedy gold. Lynn's brilliance was recognizing how perfect this scene could be. It's not just about mispronouncing words, it perfectly captures Vinny's awkward situation in unfamiliar territory. From that real-life mix-up grew one of the most famous comedic scenes in movie history. And honestly, we wouldn't want it any other way. Vinny Gambini might work courtroom miracles by the end of the movie, but let's face it, he needed 6 tries to pass the bar exam. What's up with that? The original script had an answer. Vinny was supposed to be dyslexic. That would have explained his struggles and added depth to his character. However, this scene got cut, and maybe it was for the best. Joe Pesci wasn't comfortable portraying dyslexia, and it could have made Vinny seem less smart overall. Screenwriter Dale Launer aimed to surprise audiences. He wanted them to underestimate Vinny because of his struggles with tests. By keeping the reason for Vinny's difficulties unclear, it adds mystery. Was he just bad at tests? Did he party too much in law school? Did the system underestimate him? Audiences have to guess, which makes Vinny more interesting. Launer knew real talent can come in unexpected ways. Vinny's tough, streetwise style hides a sharp mind and talent for courtroom strategy. His journey from failing the bar exam to legal success wouldn't be as satisfying if there was an easy excuse for his early struggles. Some of the movie's most intense scenes were filmed inside a real prison, the Lee Arrendale State Prison in Georgia. Director Jonathan Lynn wanted authenticity, so he took the cast and crew into a maximum security facility. This wasn't just a set. Lynn remembers feeling a chill filming so close to death row. The actors felt it too. Mitchell Whitfield, playing Stan, recalled the frightening experience of walking through prison halls covered in blankets, feeling the real tension. Those chilling shouts and taunts in the prison scenes? They weren't actors. They were actual prisoners, adding real authenticity and, let's face it, some fear to the scenes. The most disturbing comments were cut from the final movie, but the fact they happened shows how intense filming in such a place was. It wasn't just the location that made it real. Those guards you see in the movie are actual Lee Arrendale guards playing themselves. Real prisoners were also used as extras. They appeared as shadowy figures in the background when Stan and Bill first arrive, and they played inmates during the outdoor basketball scene. Lynn was impressed by how the prisoners cooperated. He mentioned in the commentary that there were probably both rewards and consequences behind the scenes to keep things running smoothly. This mix of real life and scripted elements added to the tense atmosphere and unpredictable energy of those prison scenes. Filming in a real prison gave My Cousin Vinny a unique perspective. Even the actors felt the chilling reality of filming My Cousin Vinny in a maximum security prison. Ralph Macchio and Mitchell Whitfield, who portrayed Bill and Stan with convincing vulnerability, were genuinely scared by the experience. Just imagine being surrounded by real inmates serving serious sentences, some on death row, just a few feet away. Despite having guards for protection, being so close to such a tense environment naturally made everyone nervous. The tension you feel in their performances likely wasn't all acting, adding an unsettling layer to the film. It's understandable why the actors might have wished Vinny Gambini could get them out of there a bit faster. At the heart of My Cousin Vinny, there's a remarkable bond between Joe Pesci and Marisa Tomei that drives this courtroom comedy. Their on-screen chemistry bursts with energy, mixing arguments, frustrations, and surprisingly heartfelt support. But their success wasn't guaranteed. Pesci, known for intense roles and occasional quirks off-screen, was an unexpected choice for the lead. Tomei was a rising star, with this film marking her big break in movies. Yet, from their first scene together, they clicked. Tomei found a supportive mentor in Pesci. He saw her talent and became her guide, backing her confidently as she entered the world of major films. Despite any initial doubts from the studio about Tomei, Pesci believed she was perfect for Mona Lisa. Their bond wasn't just acting. Tomei speaks warmly of Pesci as genuinely kind, and they often spent breaks on set singing together. Pesci even brought his guitar. It turns out the tough guy actor also had a beautiful singing voice, showcasing his diverse talents. Their on-screen chemistry was so convincing that it masked a significant fact. There was a 22-year age gap between the two actors. To bridge this difference and keep Pesci looking youthful, the production team used clever tricks. Makeup artist Carmen Willis disclosed that they applied a temporary facelift method to make Pesci appear younger. They discreetly used tabs and hooks to tighten his skin, and a hairpiece concealed the mechanics of the transformation. It was a time-consuming process, but Pesci handled it like a pro. Despite their efforts, there were still moments when the tabs slipped, leading to some funny incidents during filming. Marisa Tomei's journey to winning an Oscar didn't start with glamour and celebrations. Instead, she was napping on a friend's couch, her heavily pregnant friend ready to give birth any moment. This chaotic energy was perfectly fitting for the vibe of My Cousin Vinny. Imagine this: her friends watching TV, the Oscar nominations are announced, and they go wild, screaming, jumping, absolute mayhem. Tomei, startled awake, immediately assumes her friend is going into labor. She's ready to rush to the hospital in a panic, urging, "Let's get you to the hospital!" Amidst the celebration, Tomei's bewildered expression as her friends finally explained their excitement must have been priceless. In that instant, everything changed. First shock, then confusion, and finally the realization that Marisa Tomei, famous for My Cousin Vinny, was an Oscar nominee. It's a wonderfully surprising tale that mirrors the film's own journey. Tomei's talent, much like Vinny's legal skills, was undeniable, even if it was initially overlooked. Her unexpected Oscar win secured her spot in Hollywood history and firmly established Mona Lisa Vito as one of cinema's most memorable characters. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.